Jason, thanks for joining. For those of you watching, my name is Jerry Henry, Head of Customer Success here at RevSure, accompanied with my friend Jason. If you want to give a little intro about yourself.
Yeah, Jason Bedell. I'm the VP of Growth Marketing at Ncontracts. My team is the real power user of RevSure in our organization. We handle things from go-to-market, demand generation, content, marketing operations, paid advertising, and so everything my team owns feeds into RevSure.
So I guess in terms of before RevSure, how did you guys go through marketing attribution, your numbers? What was kind of pre-RevSure life like?
Yeah, pre-RevSure really was pretty bifurcated. It is a lot of different areas. We have a lot of different platforms pulling data into a lot of different places and trying to draw a line from platform to platform to platform to pipeline to revenue. It was all pretty spread out.
And then with that, were you ever running into issues where one report was off because you're in one place, then having to jump to another one? What was that like?
Yeah, they speak different languages, right? So what lives in HubSpot is one thing, may live in Salesforce as another, may live in the Google Ads platform as another. And so the inability to sort of standardize names and fields and things like that made direct attribution, drawing pipeline back to something that happened a month or two or three ago was not an easy task.
Yeah, no, I hear that all the time. And I think it's the same thing too, of having so many different people who own different tools, different aspects, and how do you bring everyone together and who's right, who's wrong, I think is always a fun story to have. So then I guess once you brought RevSure on, what was kind of the onboarding process like and the support from the RevSure team?
Yeah, I think from an onboarding perspective, there's two things for us. One, we went into it knowing that our data and our systems were not great, for lack of a better way to say that. They weren't great. I know everybody has great data. We didn't. And so we knew it was going to be a lot of work. And for us, having somebody to hold our hand through the integration and through the dashboard setups, was really invaluable, and it wasn't an easy process. But we've been in plenty of meetings together, right? And it wasn't always sunshine and rainbows. Like we had to figure out how to make things work and get to where we wanted to get to. But I think all along, I've really appreciated RevSure's willingness to dive in with us, sort of roll up their sleeves and say, okay, like this is what we think it should look like, but you want it to look like this, and how can we come together and make it work?
Yeah, and I think that's also something we see often. You guys aren't the only one, of also like, here's status quo, here's how we've done things. But then it's like, hey, it's great, but to your point, let's look at it in a different lens. Or hey, let's click into a different way of looking at an attribution model depending where you're at in the quarter, the year, things like that, where you can do linear to U to W and see all these things really quickly, where in the past, to rebuild an attribution model is a nightmare, as I'm sure we experienced with you. So then once you got into RevSure, how does your team use it on a weekly basis, monthly, and what is some of the time saved by not bouncing from platform to platform to look at a lot of things?
So my team, the responsibility of the data lives with my team. As the growth marketing lead, we're responsible for the data, we're responsible for the pipeline. And so I live in it daily. Some would say a bit obsessive.
I would say so.
That's why we get along so well. So I use it daily. So I'm always looking at what does our inbound process look like? How are leads moving through the funnel? How is our website converting? How are website visitors moving through the funnel? Are we moving them correctly? We have other parts of our team that may use the data less frequently, weekly, monthly. We spend a lot of time looking at projections for pipeline, monthly, quarterly. We want to make sure we're on track to hit those goals. And so depending on the team and the ownership, we use it in a few different ways.
Yeah. And then since you brought up pipeline projections, I know you guys are newer to using it. How have you seen value from it so far?
Yeah, the pipeline projections for us really was a window into our pipeline health. A number on a dashboard in Salesforce is one thing, but understanding where those live in the funnel, how long they've been there, what's happened, the activities that have happened to get them there, and just from a health standpoint, saying we think this is going to close, we actually think this is going to push, and it gives us a real number. It allows us to look at a number and go, it may be 10 million, but the reality is it's 7, and we think 40% of that is going to close, and so it helps us plan forward activities better, understanding where our gaps are earlier in the process.
So then with that as well, I know you guys are using pipeline projections. What other key views or aspects of RevSure are you leveraging the most?
For me, demand gen effectiveness is the big one, because I want to look at the full funnel. I want to look at the whole process start to finish. Obviously, pipeline is a big deal, and so we're looking at that. We're always looking at conversion rates. One of the things I really like about that model is the ability to drill down. A number is a number, but I can now look at it by team. I can look at it by region. I can look at it by a number of different factors and splits to understand where we're winning and how we're winning, and maybe focus time and energy over here instead of over here. And I wouldn't have had that insight just looking at a big number.
And I think that's, seeing a holistic view of what's working, what's not. I think also in QBR planning and a lot of different factors, having some of those of understanding, right? Also understanding seasonality and different things that get consolidated within RevSure to help make a lot of those business decisions. I think too with budgets, as our fun topic, being able to have more confidence of, hey, this has been helping over the last 3 years during this time, and going into that. And I know that your team uses journeys a lot as well, of understanding like where did every touch point come in, and then from there is like, hey, maybe we should pump more into display ads because we're seeing these journeys get more activity, we're having deal velocity, different things within there that gives you really good insights into day-to-day activities.
One of the things we've really started to dig into, we produce a lot of content. We believe in knowledge as a service, and we want to put out as much information as we can to help our customers. And so we produce a lot of content. We've got an incredible content team. Those are the sorts of things that are really hard to attribute pipeline to. Journeys allows us to look at a prospect or look at an opportunity and say, how many white papers did they read? How many blog posts did they read? And be able to say, we want to spend more time producing this kind of content because it converts 10% more than this kind of content. So it's starting to allow our content team to be more strategic in the things they produce.
No, it's great. And I think too, that's one thing we're also starting to see a lot more is like getting brand involved in a lot of those offline engagements that at times you don't know what's working, what's not. And obviously then be able to see a lot of those through the different journeys is super impactful. Where would you say RevSure also helps provide the most ROI?
For us, I think the most ROI comes from our ability to look into our paid channels and understand at a really quick glance what's succeeding. The CFO and the board, in every SaaS company, they want to know, if I'm going to spend $1, do I get $5 back? Do I get $10 back? RevSure has allowed us to pretty quickly draw a line through our paid channels into pipeline and bookings and give us a really quick ROI. It also allows us to see the details and know, okay, this campaign is producing this much pipeline, but this campaign is producing a little less. You should spend more money here. RevSure is giving us those sort of insights and suggestions to say, take money here and put it here because it's converting at a higher rate. The pipeline ratio is better over here. And so that's been really impactful for us.
Nice. And then I know your team leverages some of the AI components. How would you say that's been helping, once again, breaking down all the different economic factors, a lot of things that then also help you make more educated decisions?
One of the things that we've started using is the next best step. Part of the AI predictions and modeling, being able to look at an opportunity that may be stuck, a prospect that may be stuck in a stage of the journey, and understand kind of a holistic view. RevSure takes it, looks at it and says, okay, based on some of this data, they match something over here that ended up being an opportunity. You should maybe do this. You should invite them to this webinar. They need to consume more content. And so that's allowed us to more strategically identify next steps for opportunities or prospects that end up stuck.
Yeah. And then I know we covered pipeline projections, demand gen effectiveness. What other key views or aspects of RevSure are you going in daily and looking at?
I spend a lot of time in the cohort intelligence. I think that gives me more of the, like the demand gen view is really kind of that real time, what's the funnel look like? The cohort intelligence really allows me to see overall how we're performing, the health of how we're performing, how what we're doing as the marketing team is impacting sales, and how those two groups work in conjunction with each other. So I spend a lot of time in the cohort intelligence too.
Yeah, I think that's always, I wouldn't say battle, but always fun between marketing and sales. And I think too, having those insights of what's helping sales is always a good conversation.
Yes.
Because I think there's a lot of times, right, marketing likes to take credit for things. Sales is like, well, I would have done it without you. And then being able to show like, hey, actually, when marketing is involved, our deal cycles are decreased by 10 days.
Yes.
We're seeing a higher ARR. There's a lot of different things where then, in a sense, you become friends.
Yeah.
And I think too, that was like a wave of ABM, right? Was that initial, how does marketing truly help sales? And how is sales then gonna buy in, right, on, hey, if they downloaded this ebook, here's the journey that we're showing, you have a higher chance and velocity of closing. So these are the ones you should prioritize and continue to move forward on.
Yeah.
And then I guess kind of a couple last questions. Where would you say RevSure helps with QBRs or different reporting needs? Obviously, I know that you used to bounce around a lot. What are the things that you're using or maybe grabbing screenshots of that help you with a lot of those QBRs?
Yeah, I spend a lot of time grabbing screenshots for our QBRs and our board meetings. I think back to your point and the relationship between sales and marketing, it has allowed us to simplify the data in a way. Now we're all looking at the same thing. We can all understand the same process. Sales isn't looking over here. Content's not looking over here. Marketing's not looking over. We're all looking at the same thing. We're all speaking the same language. And when that turns to planning and QBRs and things like that, as we enter into a budget season and we're all going to get new numbers, it really helps us build the right model, the right pipeline build to the revenue build. Like it helps us build that because we're all looking at the same thing.
So I know in implementation, we were very hands-on, making sure a lot of needs. I know RevSure as a whole and data can always be complex.
Yeah.
How outside of implementation has the RevSure team helped support you and your team and Christopher and Kristen and team make sure that you have everything you need and making sure it's more of a partnership opposed to just like shelfware that you have?
Yeah, no, that's great. You and Francisco have been great. We meet weekly. And the ongoing support, the ability to send an email or jump on a call with one of you and say, hey, I have a question about this. And I know it's answered. Could I see something this way? And most of the time you say yes. Sometimes you say, that's a dumb way to look at it. Don't put that in there. That's terrible. No, but the relationship has been great. The ongoing relationship has been great. Onboarding was difficult just because of the way our system worked, and the ability to stay in contact with you and Francisco and the team to continue to refine what we're looking at, refine the things we need as we're working through pipeline projections. It's a hit or miss. It's an ebb and flow. It's a learning model.
Yeah.
And so to be able to have that pretty direct, instant feedback of this doesn't look right and here's why I think it's wrong, or here's maybe how you need to tweak the model. Like having that feedback and that line of communication, I think, to you and your team has been really helpful.
Yeah. I appreciate the time.
Absolutely, man.
Always appreciate everything you and the team do, and thank you.
Yeah.